So before we start with the Excel spreadsheet, doing summations for agents or staff quarterly performance, we have to understand what does the sumif function actually do? How does it function? Right? So I'm going to do a little presentation so you get an understanding or a feeling of the functionality before we go to the spreadsheet. So here we go. We're going to go sumif as a list of people for this example, and what I want to do is use this list to find the corresponding people and their corresponding dollar values. So what we want to do is we want to summarize. If you can see the list here, you can see that Fred is repetitive through the list, and Mary as well, but the other guys on the singular. But Fred will have a corresponding value of, let's say in this case he earned $1,000 in some event, right? And then later on we'll see that Fred once again did something in an event where he got $1,200 in an event, and so forth, right? So what we want to do, we want to use the sumif to summarize or look for certain entity within the list and add the appropriate values together and return a single value for that person. Sumif uses three particular parameters. The first one is the range, and the range means it's really like a lookup range. So this range would be an area within the spreadsheet, most likely a column, and the column would have reference. So the range would have a reference, like maybe from C3 to C20 or something or other, with people names, and that range is where we would use a criteria to look for within that range. And whenever it actually finds that particular entity, it would use the sum range, which has to be the same dimensions as the lookup range. So this guy here, this range may be in another column like D, so it would be D3 to D20, and it would look for the particular criteria, match that entity, and then add the appropriate dollar values as it goes along, and return one single value, which is the total of what it's matched through the criteria. Now the important thing here is, if you remember previously in the other examples, the criteria can be typed in like this as a criteria, say Fred with double quotes, so it searches for that particular string. But it's not a professional way of using Excel spreadsheets. We want to use this reference somewhere within the spreadsheet, which means we would type this value into a cell and we would replace this text with the cell reference. So in our case, this might actually be in the reference sheet somewhere, let's say Q12 or something or other. So we would actually click on Q12 in the reference sheet to change this, rather than a string. It'd be more flexible to actually have a reference, right? So what happens within the sumif? It will use, when the Excel spreadsheet executes the sumif, it will use this criteria to search through the range, or the search range. When it finds it, it would add the appropriate value. So this is what would happen. So let's have a look at an example. So when it runs, it executes, it would say, oh, Fred, it actually made a match, and the match would then go to the corresponding sum range and add this value as it goes. So the next find, it would find the next value of Fred, and it would add to the 1,000. So our running total, if you stop the execution of sumif, the running total would be 2,200. And obviously the sumif will go right through the whole range to find all of the matching entities. So it will find the last one, and it will add this to the running total. So the function at the end would return back $2,450 as a running total, right? So let's stop here and let's try it on the in the spreadsheet.